Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of the Food and Farm Show. I'm Gil Dominguez.
And I'm Cheryl Noble, and today we're on location in Yuba County at the historic George Muck Farm.
Yeah, Jim from Jim's Produce has let us come down here today to take part in a UC extension program on commercial gardening on a big scale, Cheryl, and what we've seen has really been impressive.
And very big equipment too.
It is very big equipment. Jim farms a lot of acres here. We're in Yuba County, right on the border with Placer County, and the information that we're receiving is really beneficial. A good-sized crowd, about 20 farmers here from all over the area. Right,
and the UC Cooperative Extension does serve Placer and Nevada counties. So we're part of that, and there are a few people from Grass Valley here today.
There are, and they're learning things on soil preparation, on tilling, on fertilizer, on amendments, and cover crops. And I tell you, I've already learned so much in the first hour of being here.
It's exciting.
And one thing that I'm doing everything wrong at home. I spent the last 2 days getting rid of the natural weeds and grasses and giving them to the chickens, which of course is good because they'll eat the grass and they'll turn it into an egg. But what he was saying today is you want to use those amendments and plow them right back into the soil.
Yeah, there's a lot of steps. It was very interesting, and also all the various equipment that you need to get exactly the type of crop that you want, and the type of soil that you want, the depth, how far you go, depends on the type of crop that you're doing. So it was all very inspiring.
And don't forget, don't set your tiller too low, because then you'll create its own hard pan underneath the ground and your roots won't be able to go through that. But it's all part of a hands-on workshop here, and the class is going to go out and actually work with some of the equipment out there in the fields, and a great opportunity is to come out and learn more about farming. On today's show, we'll meet the Nevada County Ag Advisor, Roger Ingram, and he'll show us where our food comes from here in Nevada County.
We also continue our Backyard Chicken series with the chicken lady, Janie Powers. But we begin our show now with a visit with Dee Levan and learn how she is starting an aquaponic growing group. Be sure to join us every week on the Food and Farm Show, Monday evenings at 6:30. That's Channel 11, NCTV, also Suddenlink 16, and ACTV Channel 20. We're also available 24/7 on our YouTube channel, which is the Food and Farm Show. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter, Pinterest, and all of the online resources.
So here we go. Right after the first break, it's off to meet Dee Levan and her aquaponics group. You're watching the Food and Farm Show right here on the Touchdown Productions Network. Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions.
Anything Green Hydroponics is your source for hydro systems, grow lights, and soils. Anything Green offers a complete range of organic nutrients as well as fungicides, miticides, and predatory bugs. Anything Green Hydroponics has just received this year's soil. Get your totes, pallets, or individual bags. Stay tuned for future workshops. It's all at Anything Green Hydroponics.
Briar Patch Co-op Natural Foods Community Market offers organic produce from over 30 regional farms and buys local organic produce from farms like River Hill, Sweet Roots, First Rain, Pyramid, and Mooney Flat. You can trust the Patch to hold their producers to the highest standards and always be certified organic. So get to the Patch, the Briar Patch, for organic produce.
Spring is here. Time to visit the garden center at A2Z Supply. We have everything you need to plant it, grow it, preserve it, and eat it. With a master gardener and full-time beekeepers on staff, the garden center carries a wide selection of organic plants along with people and pet-friendly products. And don't forget our weekly workshops at the Garden Center at A2Z Supply.
Welcome back to the Food and Farm Show. Dee Levan is so excited and into her aquaponics that she has decided to form a local aquaponics group right here in Nevada County. Our Gil Dominguez had a chance to catch up with her and hear about what she's doing to start up this group.
Hi Gil, welcome to my aquaponic garden at the end of the road.
Well, this is quite a setup you have here. How did you get started in aquaponics?
Well, a couple of years ago I first heard the term, and I was fascinated by a system where you could actually have the fish feeding the vegetables and the vegetables cleaning the water for the fish in a closed loop system that would be easy to grow, take care of itself. There's very little, you don't have to ever weed, you're not digging in the dirt, it's clean, the vegetables love it. And so as I read about it, I got more and more intrigued, but it took me a while to find someone who I thought could help me to build it.
And how many different varieties of plants do you have growing in here?
Let's see, we probably at the moment maybe 20, 25 different things going. At the moment we have winter things. I actually transplanted some of these things from my outdoor winter garden, and some of these things I just threw the seeds, like the beets for example. I just threw the seeds. You can start to see these little radishes coming up. We have two kinds of kale, we have parsley, cilantro, many different kinds of lettuce, spinach, and we have fava beans. And I also seeded some peas, which are just starting to come up. And as we go, we're going to build a trellis for them. So if you come back again, we'll have this whole area filled with peas.
Now, as a new aquaponics gardener, how fun has that been for you?
I got to tell you, it's the joy that I feel every morning. It's like, oh, wake up, let's go see how the fish are doing. Let's go test the water, which I do. You can see here every day we're doing checks on the chemistry, because it's really important, especially when you're just putting the fish in, to make sure that everything is safe for the fish and that the system will naturally adjust itself as the fish are maturing. There'll be more nitrates released to the plants. This is our nitrate level. It's really high right now, which is good. The plants like that. We also have to make sure that we don't get ammonia in here too fast. That the fish won't like. And this is the nitrite. Here's our pH level. Turns out the fish like it a little higher than the vegetables do. So we have to decide, we lower the pH slowly and the vegetables uptake the nitrate. We keep the pH too high, the vegetables don't get enough, so we're going to work on balancing. So that's kind of my job now. And I also keep track every day of the temperature, the low, the high, and the humidity inside. So my designer builder is Ross Tessine, and he has taught me everything I need to know to do this all myself.
Now, you liked aquaponics so much that you wanted to create a local organization?
I did. I have some friends that are involved in aquaponics, and what we've done is started a chapter of the Aquaponics Association, which is a national organization based in Denver, Colorado, I believe, Aquaponics Source. And our chapter is called SierraFoothillsAquaponics.com. And we're in the process of gathering the folks in Nevada County who are interested in aquaponics, who want to learn more, who want to start their own systems. And we'll be able to support one another and exchange all kinds of information and ideas and see how we do with this.
Now, this is a growing interest here in Nevada County, right?
I believe it is. I'm especially interested in self-sufficiency and food security so that there's plenty to eat. And I'm also very interested in the idea that everyone should be able to have fresh organic food, regardless of whether you can afford it or not. So there's an attempt here to create an abundance that can be shared, lower the cost of organic food to where it's affordable to more and more people. give away if there's too much to people that need to be eating good quality food. So, for example, the Interfaith Food Ministries, the Food Bank, Hospitality House, people that can't take care of themselves can have access to fresh vegetables by the abundance that we're creating. And as more and more people do this, that will allow this concept to grow.
So how can people get in touch with you if they're interested in joining your organization or finding out more about aquaponics?
Well, let me say the name of the association again. It's Sierra Foothills Aquaponics.com, and there will be a link so that you could join and some phone numbers. And I would be happy to talk to anyone who is interested. So if people would like to contact me, they can reach me at 530-478-1203. My name is Dee.
Well, thanks for sharing your success so far with your aquaponic system. We look forward to coming back here and checking out the progress.
Great. I'd love to have you. Thanks so much.
It's time for our second break, and when we come back, we'll go back to our series about backyard chickens with the chicken lady, Janie Powers. You're watching the Food and Farm Show on the Touchdown Productions Network.
Introducing Cuvee leather kitchenware. Kitchenware that lasts a lifetime. Made from genuine leather suede, Cuvee kitchenware comes in a variety of colors and has been featured on the Food Network. Leather is the perfect kitchenware. It is a natural insulator, washable, and non-flammable. Cuvee leather kitchenware, chefware, and tableware. Unique kitchenware to complement your favorite place. Create, entertain, and be you.
Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions.
Anything Green Hydroponics is your source for hydro systems, grow lights, and soils. Anything Green offers a complete range of organic nutrients as well as fungicides, miticides, and predatory bugs. Anything Green Hydroponics has just received this year's soil. Get your totes, pallets, or individual bags. Stay tuned for future workshops. It's all at Anything Green Hydroponics.
Since 2009, Creative Coops has been committed to helping people live a more sustainable lifestyle. Their chicken coops are made right here in Grass Valley. Their innovative design allows for easy expansion for 3, 6, or 10 chickens. Creative Coops keeps your chickens safe from predators, are well ventilated, with spacious nesting boxes, making backyard chickens fun for the whole family. It's Creative Coops, bringing backyard chickens to your home.
Hi everybody, I'm Janie Powers, the Chicken Lady, and I'm here to welcome you to another segment of Backyard Chickens right here on the Food and Farm Show. And here's a different kind of breed. This is one that I sort of discovered, and I really like her, so I recommend her to people. This is the Delaware. They're a large bird. They're quite attractive. They're white with little black speckles on the neck and on the tail. And usually people think if you have a white chicken, it will lay white eggs, but a Delaware lays brown eggs. They like to go out and scratch about and look for things. They come from the state of Ohio. You might gather that, Delaware, Ohio. And back in the 40s, they were quite popular. Everyone had Delaware chickens in their chicken yard. But things changed. They sort of lost favor. Other chickens came about that people got interested in. And in fact, people quit buying Delawares. And so when people didn't want the Delaware chicks, then the hatcheries stopped hatching Delawares. And it got to the point where they were almost wiped off. So Sometimes I like to look back at some of these endangered birds, and if I find one that looks like it's a good layer, and I think if I can buy a few and I can recommend it and other people buy a few, then we can bring it back. And actually the Delaware is gaining in popularity. And I won't say it's because of me, but they do make good birds. They're very curious. They're the ones that will follow you around. They like to help you in the garden. If you're out there planting a row of say, zinnias, they will like to help you. They will come behind you and pull up the ones that you've just planted. So, and then if you've got some room, let's say that you say I need 3 or 4 layers to provide me with enough eggs for my family. You might have room for a little extra, and so then you can look at some of these ornamental breeds. This is the kindest, sweetest bird in the world. A lot of people don't even think it's a bird because it has feathers, but they're so fine that it looks like hair. They make wonderful pets. People actually keep them as pets. The only problem with silkies is that if you want a silkie, you should get one when you have your other chicks and raise them all together, because silkies are so docile that it's very easy for the larger hens to pick on them. But if they're raised with the big hens, then they're all considered part of the family. And also, another one that I like if you thinking of maybe an extra bird is a cochin. Cochins came from China. They come in large size, and they also come in the banty size. They look huge. They've got tons of feathers, but they're really not that big. They have feathers on their feet, so they look like they're wearing slippers. They're a really cute bird. They make a good pet, but they're not good layers. Now here's something to look for. This is an ad from the Murray McMurray catalog. How many of you know Murray McMurray? Okay, well if you don't, you can go online, you can Google Murray McMurray, and they will send you a free catalog. They have tons of chickens. Just watch. When you're reading about the chickens and you come across something that says, they're very quick and active, foraging wildly if allowed to run. Uh-oh, what does that tell you? So you don't want a quick and active running, foraging chicken. I have a Lackenvelder right now. And I've had her for about 3 years. When the chickens go out at night and they all come back, I mean they go out in the daytime, they all come back at night to be fed, she will walk by the door. She will look in the door and she'll say, I don't know that place. And she will run to the other end of the barn. So I run after her. So we go round and round and round like that until finally I say to the rooster, get out there and get that hen. So he goes out and he goes, waka, 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 and then she comes in. So let's talk a little bit about coops. Coops are very important because a coop protects your chicken, and they all need protection. Chickens are not the sharpest knives in the drawer, so it's up to you to protect them from the numbers of predators that are out there. What do you want from a chicken coop? And this is all in your handouts. First of all, you want to make it easy for you to clean, because the chickens will not grab a little tiny chicken broom and sweep it out for you. You want good drainage. You don't want your birds standing in the mud, because that will lead to foot infections. You want them to be protected. You don't want them out there in the cold wind in the winter or the broiling heat in the sun. You want something that's going to keep out rodents and birds and other predators. You want it well ventilated, because you don't want to go into a smelly chicken house, but at the same time you don't want it full of the draft so that the cold winter winds come in.
Thanks a lot, Janie. You bring us so much knowledge of chickens each week, and we really appreciate it, as well as do our viewers here. Now, time for our last break of the day. When we come back, it's off to the ERC meeting where we meet Roger Ingram, our Nevada County Ag Advisor. You're watching the Food and Farm Show. Since 2009, Creative Coops has been committed to helping people live a more sustainable lifestyle. Their chicken coops are made right here in Grass Valley. Their innovative design allows for easy expansion for 3, 6, or 10 chickens. Creative Coops keeps your chickens safe from predators, are well ventilated, with spacious nesting boxes, making backyard chickens fun for the whole family. It's Creative Coops, bringing backyard chickens to your home.
Spring is here. Time to visit the Garden Center at A2Z Supply. We have everything you need to plant it, grow it, preserve it, and eat it. With a master gardener and full-time beekeepers on staff, the Garden Center carries a wide selection of organic plants, along with people and pet-friendly products. And don't forget our weekly workshops at the Garden Center at A2Z Supply.
Introducing Cuvee leather kitchenware. Kitchenware that lasts a lifetime. Made from genuine leather suede, Cuvee kitchenware comes in a variety of colors and has been featured on the Food Network. Leather is the perfect kitchenware. It is a natural insulator, washable, and non-flammable. Cuvee leather kitchenware, chefware, and tableware. Unique kitchenware to complement your favorite place. Create, entertain, and be you.
Briar Patch Co-op and Natural Foods Community Market offers organic produce from over 30 regional farms and buys local organic produce from farms like River Hill, Sweet Roots, First Rain, Pyramid, and Mooney Flat. You can trust the Patch to hold their producers to the highest standards and always be certified organic. So get to the Patch, the Briar Patch, for organic produce.
The Economic Resource Council, or the ERC, is an important part of Nevada County in building our economy. At the last meeting that they had, they invited our Ag Commissioner, Jeff Pileman, and our Ag Advisor, Roger Ingram, to come talk about the importance of agriculture in the economy of Nevada County. We pick up that meeting with Ag Advisor Roger Ingram explaining where all of our food comes from here in Nevada County.
Okay, thanks. I'm Roger Ingram. I work as County Director, Livestock Natural Resources Farm Advisor with UC Cooperative Extension, and I've been here in Nevada County since 1986 for a long time, and really enjoy being here. Lots of opportunity here in Nevada County, and our office basically takes research-based information generated by the university and uses that to try and solve local issues. So one of the local issues that we're really heavily involved in here is basically agriculture and the future of agriculture, and really trying to bring in a new generation of farmers and ranchers to keep that rich agricultural heritage going. I had the privilege of speaking at the Nevada County Resource Conservation District annual dinner first part of March, and one of the things that the RCD is doing an excellent job of is really honoring the heritage of local agriculture that we have here, of longtime farms and longtime ranches. And that brings up the point that another farmer that we have here for a long time is Peter Arnold over at Silver Springs Ranch, and Peter has traveled the world as a consultant on timber stuff, but also grows wine grapes, has some irrigated pasture, and now is bringing on Brad there to provide some resource infrastructure there to allow him to move forward with his operation. And those types of things are very, very critical for the survival of agriculture. What you see up here, this is a Come Home to Eat event that was held in 2010. This is Rita DeQuercus, and she was a big main driver in kind of really providing some connecting points for bringing together the local community and also the farming community to talk to one another, because we need everybody moving forward in the same direction for that survivability of agriculture. First off, I kind of want to talk to you, where is food raised? Where does it come from? So these are some sheep. There's a llama there that are protecting the sheep. This is out at Elster Ranch, which is owned by George Nolte. George was an engineer. He bought this ranch in about 2006. He's now in the Williamson Act, very committed to conservation. And what this ranch is trying to do is to produce grass-fed beef. And so they now, after several years now, they've got some beef into Briar Patch and also some markets up in Reno as well. This right here is Brad Fowler's place. These are, Brad is raising pasture-based lots of stuff, but here would be pigs on here. And so they're out on the grass. You'll notice this is just electric fence that is containing these pigs into here, and that's out at Penn Valley. I think when that picture was taken, and now over there off of lime kiln then close along there at Silver Springs Ranch. This is in Penn Valley. This is another place where food comes from. This is Jeremy Minot with his farm, and that's his planting potatoes is what's going on right now. They're working the ground, and now potatoes have gone in the ground. Jeremy is probably in his late 20s. He just finished taking a 6-week farm business planning course that we teach, and is taking those principles and implementing here and putting that ranch in. This is Donner Trail Fruit with Chris Beerwagen. They've been in business for over 100 years, but they are undergoing some transition issues. One of the real problems that we've got here in Nevada County is just with the elevation, you have weird kind of weather patterns. So that can have a big impact on deciduous fruit production on a year-to-year basis. And so Donner Trail Fruit is doing some transitional things, looking at berries, looking at more vegetable production, those types of things. So still maintaining that heritage, but having to move into some new directions if they are going to survive. This is Dave Galino. He is out off of Byers Lane, off of McCourtney Road. Dave raises beef. He also does a little bit of grass-fed beef. Dave runs on his home ranch right here in Nevada County for a part of the year. He also will run cattle up in the Red Bluff area for some winter grazing, because he's got about 80 acres here and he needs a lot more land to be able to run animals on. And then during the summertime, from about June till maybe first part of October, they will actually go up on a grazing allotment that David's been going up on now for quite a few years, kind of past the Pike area type of a thing. But this is also where food comes from. This is at Hennessey School, and this is a school garden, and our office fortunately we had a little bit of extra funds in 2009 that we were able to help rehabilitate this garden site. And the importance of these school gardens is it allows kids who a lot of times are very disconnected from the land, very disconnected from where their food comes from, are able to actually get out here, work in a garden, plant, see things grow, harvest things, taste produce. Okay, so another thing that you're doing is they understand where food comes from, they understand how food grows, but also they're starting to eat a healthier diet as well. So there's a lot of positive benefits that goes on with school gardens. This is another place where food comes from. This is in Chicago Park. This is Dinner Bell Farm, and they do a lot of meat birds, broilers, that they'll raise for about 8 weeks, and then they'll sell those birds. They also have some pasture-based pigs. They are transitioning a little bit towards more vegetable production. And Molly and Paul, they're probably in their early 30s is where they are at. Here's another place where agriculture is, and it's right in the middle of Cedar Ridge. And this is Bob McBurney's place, and these are Christmas trees right here. And then timber has a very rich heritage here in Nevada County, has always been a strong driver historically for the economy. You know, you do have private landowners who are doing their own thinning, harvesting, those types of things. And this right here is actually using some horsepower to be able to do the skidding of the logs. So one of the things I can talk to you about is kind of some trends that I kind of see, and looking at those trends, trying to design programming that perhaps can have some impacts to help improve the situation. This is graphs of the number of farms and average farm size from 1910 all the way over to 2007. And these are coming from the Census of Agriculture, which just got finished being completed as far as gathering data. And then hopefully will be out maybe in early 2014, and then I can update this data. But here is 1910. So these bars represent average farm size. So as you can see, the average farm size in 1910 was over 300 acres. And we kind of in the middle part of the century here, we were up maybe sometimes over 500 acres. And then all of a sudden development started to occur, and even more development started to occur. And so by the time we get down to 2007, that average farm size is 102 acres. So farmland is getting smaller. So that's one big impact that has occurred over time. Interesting though, the number of farms is actually more in 2007 than it is in 1910. We have 690 farms in 2007 and 544 in 1910. So that kind of is a real indicator of sort of this resurgence of interest in agriculture, of wanting to get back on the land, of getting some connection going there. In some cases, that may be people who have retired and are looking just to do something. Others are wanting to see some part-time income, but a real resurgence in young people wanting to get on the land and generate a full-time income, or trying to get as close to a full-time income as they possibly can.
Roger, those numbers are for the county?
This is for Nevada County. So now we'll talk some more about who grows the food. This is John Powers, Hopeful Hill Farm. This is the very first Nevada County grown meeting, annual meeting that was held in 2009. As Jeff mentioned, they're going to have their annual membership dinner a week from Saturday on April the 13th. And here's the logo that got developed on there. And Nevada County Grown was very fortunate to get some support from Nevada County and the Board of Supervisors to provide some initial startup funds to get Nevada County Grown organized as a nonprofit and get some logo development done. And that gave a nice foundation for this organization to move forward, which this logo helps in identifying our branding, which is such a huge issue as far as really getting that on people's consciousness about buying local and what that means. And this brand here helps identify that it is local. This is also who grows the food. This is Chris Beerwagon. We talked about Donner Trail fruit. Chris, Ernie Beerwagon was his dad. Ernie was a very dynamic personality, and Chris was in the military for a while and then came back to the farm and has been there probably for over 20 years now, running things, and does an excellent job. Chris went through our farm business planning class too, and as I said, kind of dealing with some transition issues there. This is Bob McBurney. We showed his Christmas tree place. This was at the Ag Tour in 2008. Bob worked at Safeway, and as part of a 4-H project, he got involved in growing Christmas trees and has been able to keep that business going. Gosh, he's probably working on about 50 years now, and so he is able. The amazing thing to me is because that's all residential surrounding him, and yet he is able to maintain good relations with his neighbor, to not be as concerned about traffic issues. I'm sure there's issues, but somehow he's been able to manage that to allow a thriving ag operation to be able to operate surrounded by houses, which I think is a pretty amazing accomplishment. This is John Drew. John, longtime organic agricultural producer, is probably one of the first persons to go out and establish an organic farm, and was one of the main drivers on getting Growers Market going, managing Growers Market, former president of Farm Bureau, has just been a real significant contributor to agriculture. John is kind of phasing back. He's got his acreage there at Backbreaking Farms in Chicago Park. He's still growing stuff, but kind of looking to transition to a new generation. This is Jim Gates. Jim Gates is Nevada County Free Range Beef, and in probably 2006, Jim Gates sold probably 12 head of grass-fed beef. But Jim was very, very determined to try and build a grass-fed beef business. He was working for an insulation company which paid him a good salary. But about 2009, 2010, the company, Nevada County Free Range Beef, had grown so much that Jim had to make a decision. If it was going to go to the next level, he was going to have to quit his full-time job, which meant he had to cut the safety net. And that is a real big step for somebody who's going to go full-time in agriculture, because now there's no support system at all. It's like you just got to get out there and make it happen. It's no different than any other small business owner who would find on what they have to do. But Jim has now built that business up to where they are marketing 200 head of grass-fed beef a year, and that is still growing. He's in Briar Patch. That's been his main market, but now he is in one SPD, and the other SPD is now asking to carry his product as well. The challenges that Jim has, and I'm going to get into this a lot more, is infrastructure. Jim is running on 38 different leased properties to be able to produce those 200 head. And so that is because all that chopped up land that we saw, that declining size of farms in Nevada County, he's just got to keep moving around looking for land. That's a huge issue of having enough of a land resource, especially for a livestock business, because that requires a lot more acreage than, say, what might be an economic unit on cropping. But Jim is really built that business up, a lot of room for expansion, and I was just talking with him yesterday. Jim's in his early 60s, and there's been one individual who's kind of contacted him that Jim was hoping would contact him, that is showing some interest in maybe doing some succession planning for that business as Jim begins to reach an age where maybe he can't be as active as he currently is. April 26th, Jim will have a appreciation dinner. This is a photo from that appreciation dinner. So Jim provides all the beef. He does all the cooking there on that, and then there's probably 300 people that come out to the ranch that day off of Bethany Springs Road at Anna and Bill Trabuco's place, and that Jim leases. And it's a big potluck. And what it is, it's just the people that are buying Jim's product and know Jim are coming out there to show their appreciation for what he does, and he's showing his appreciation by providing him some of his beef. This is Alan Haight and Joe McProud, and they own and operate River Hill Farms. Alan is a dynamic supporter of agriculture. Him and Joe make a really great team. River Hill Farm is one of the largest vegetable farms in the county. I think they probably have around 8 acres under cultivation, and that is a lot when you're talking about an intensive vegetable fruit production type of operation. They are selling at farmers markets. They were doing a community-supported agriculture operation out of their place, which would be providing a weekly box of produce for, say, 20 some odd weeks for people. They've now transitioned to doing a friend of the farmer card, to where you can just go to the farmer's market and pick up your stuff there. Alan and Joe also were able to work with Nevada County Women and Infant Children to get a small grant that they were actually able to provide CSA boxes to some low-income families as well. I showed David Galino, but this is his better half. This is Barbara right here, and again, the Galinos are real special people. They've been very active in Farm Bureau. They've also been very active on the RCD, as well as for a while there we were working on a grass-fed beef cooperative that Dave was one of the prime people who were involved in that. This is Tony Fairchild. Tony, at this point in time, was operating a custom hire goat operation. He has since kind of transitioned out of that and is operating Wild Blackberry Farm to direct market, I think, both lamb and also fruit and vegetables. And Tony, again, is somebody who's less than 40 years of age. That's a key thing, because that means that's somebody who's young if you're involved in agriculture. This is Sue Hook over here at Robinson Ranch. This is on the ag tour probably a couple of years ago when we went there. And Sue, they are providing growing some beef for Jim Gates with Nevada County Free Range Beef, as well as marketing through typical auction markets. This is a long time historical ranch, Neil Robinson's place, and it's still thriving. Still moving forward, still evolving, those types of things, but again, just a great contributor to agriculture. Lynn Wilson is here from Pilot Peak Winery, and this is also on that same ag tour, and he was talking to us about the winery, about growing the grapes and the need for vertical integration. In other words, the only way to really begin to make the economics work, you can't really make it on just selling the grapes as a commodity. You've got to add that value onto that in order as a wine to be able to do that. But if I'm going to be able to have the wine, then I also have to be able to have some events out on the winery itself as an attractant to draw people in. And so when we begin to combine all those together, it provides great opportunity, but it also provides great challenges as far as, depending on your location and roads and those types of things, how do you kind of balance what neighbors are needing and also what you're needing for your business to thrive? This is Brad, and there's 3 there. I think there's, what, 2 more or 1 more or something like that. There's 2 more. So this is an earlier photo here. That's Brad and Alana right there. Brad does some custom grazing with goats. Trying to develop his grass-based business to be able to have that be a full-time job in agriculture, and it's not easy, but they are doing all that they can to make that work. This is Matt Shapiro, and I'm spacing out on his girlfriend here, and Matt has just gotten involved in the sheep business. He bought 80 head of Dorper ewes last October from lady up in Humboldt County. He's just now started lambing, and Matthew, again, is a young farmer rancher who's trying to make a go of it. This is the Food Love Project. This is Amanda Thibodeau, and Amanda helps manage this Food Love Project, and that's what the Living Lands Agrarian Network. The goal of this farm is education. They want to bring people out from schools, any other type of youth group that can come out there to get them connected with the land, connected with agriculture. The farm also is growing some production as well. And Amanda heads up this education piece right here, and her partner there is Katie, and Katie Turner, and Katie took our farm business planning class. And so one of the things that we really pushed on with Katie is that the Food Love Project right now, the way it's able to really survive is they have grant funding coming in. What we're trying to work with them on is, can they expand the vegetable production that they're growing to where if that could go ahead and meet the expenses that the farm needs to be able to survive, that way if they're going to bring in grant funding, it enables them to enable really to expand out on what they're able to do. So trying to make that an economically viable farm that can be independent of the grant farming to be able to do the things that they are doing. Again, this is Jeremy Minot. We saw the plowing that was going on as he's been planting potatoes over the last 2 to 3 weeks. One of the things that Jeremy was able to learn, that instead of trying to grow 30 to 40 kind of crops, a lot of times that can be way too diverse and way too labor intensive for a farm to really make that work economically. Trying to simplify and less diversity and focus on certain markets that can help him be more efficient and also be more profitable as well. He's kind of focusing on potato production with a lot of different markets then that he can sell through. So here's a kind of a real busy graph that's the real driver for a lot of our extension farmer, and I'll just kind of bring this up because that's going to be too busy to go through here. But the average age of a farmer in Nevada County is about 57 years of age. And 56% of operators of farms in Nevada County are 55 or older, and 1.5% are less than 35. That's a really startling figure. Now, things have probably improved. We'll kind of see what the Ag Census is showing, because certainly our office is dealing with a lot of younger people who are wanting to get involved in farming or in ranching or whatever. But if they're going to be able to do that, invariably they have no resources. They do not have any land availability for them to be able to inherit. So that inevitably means they're going to have to lease land. Why are they going to have to lease land? Because the average cost of an acre of land is valued so high, there's absolutely no way that a farm can cash flow that purchase, because there's too much development value built into that. And so trying to find land that they can lease is what they're going to have to do, which is easy for me to say, but it is hard to do as far as being able to find land that has, say, irrigation water on it, and also it's a landowner that you can work with, and there's kind of a common vision there. So, and also, can you lock that up on a long-term type of a lease? So that's a real challenge for young people in order to be able to find stable land and enough land for that to be able to support their business as an economic unit. So trying to work through there, trying to work with young people to help them identify what are the enterprises that can give them the most potential for providing a good return for them so that they can be economically viable, and just a whole other host of issues as well. Here's gross income level by farm. A farm for the Ag Census is characterized by anybody that achieves gross sales of at least $1,000. So it sort of skews the figures a little bit, but as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of people over here producing less than $10,000 in gross sales, and only a few over here producing over $100,000 in gross sales. One of the big things that after 5 years of doing this farm business planning stuff and looking at a lot of different operations, if you're going to have a shot at being able to generate some sort of semblance of being able to have pay yourself a salary that at least can give you some reasonable shot at some survivability, you're probably going to have to be generating in the neighborhood of about $150,000 to $200,000 in gross sales. And a lot of operations that we will start working with might be somewhere at 25 or 50,000. So trying to work with them to figure out ways that they can expand their operations and that they can scale up so that they can be at a size and production level that will give them that reasonable shot at profitability. It's a challenge, but continuing to try and work with that. And that all relates back to this whole resource type of issue as far as access to land and also access to water, and oh yes, also access to capital as far as where will they find the money in order to fund that startup operation, and do they have the type of enterprises that are in place that can generate a quick cash flow, in other words, money coming back within a year. Just to give you an example, Jim with his grass-fed beef. If there was a calf that was born, most people calve in the fall in Nevada County. So let's say a calf was born in October of 2012 that was a steer, and that means that's a castrated male, and that means that would grow up after about we'll say 22 months is what we would say is when that animal would finally be ready to be, would be finished to where it could then go and be processed into meat. So that would mean that the animals being born in 2012 will not be ready to be sold until 2014. And if it takes a little while to get that sale going, it might be 2015 before you're finally receiving some income back. Conversely, if I've got a lamb or a goat, which can, after they're born, in maybe 3 to 5 months, they all of a sudden can reach a finished weight. I can have a saleable product in less than a year. So those small ruminants can offer a real opportunity for a startup operation because they can generate some cash flow right away. It's the same thing in thinking about your crops. If I'm going to have fruit trees, by the time I put fruit trees in the ground, I will be 3 years before I have some semblance of product to sell. It might be 5 years before I'm in full production. So if I'm a startup business, I've got to look more at vegetables, which can give me a return in less than a year so that I've got cash flow in order for my business to survive. So we need more of these guys. These are all these young farmers. That's actually Jeremy right there. That's John Tecklin with Mountain Bounty Farm. Angie Tomey is his partner. So Jeremy started out as an intern there and an employee there, and now he's transitioned into trying and doing his own business. Here's River Hill Farm right there. There's Joe's daughter right there. This is Andrew Myers. Andrew Myers ran Four Frog Farm, and Andrew actually worked in our office for a while, did a great job with some economic analysis. Andrew had a good year in 2010 at Four Frog in Penn Valley, and then he had a real year that was a big struggle in 2011. If you think back to 2011, there was a lot of rain that year, which you'd think would be a good thing, but it just never stopped. That's the thing with Mother Nature. You know, it's kind of like this year. We had all that rain in December, and then it kind of stopped, and it was like, okay, that's pretty good. We got a break. Unfortunately, we didn't need a 90-day break, you know, so finally we're getting a little bit of rain, but it's been a real struggle for livestock producers. Anyway, because of the rain patterns and the cold weather in 2011, it took a lot longer for product to finally be available for sale, so sales were down that year. And Andrew has a wife, they've now got a baby, and actually he's transitioning to going to business school at UC Berkeley type of a thing. So, but we need to keep people like Andrew on the farm rather looking at other options. This is a meeting of our farm business planning class at Drew Horwath's place. Drew had a CSA there in Penn Valley. This is Sean. Sean is now working at River Hill Farms. He worked at Natural Trading Company in the Lincoln area for a while, and then he tried farming for a year, and that was a real struggle for him. I know as we were sitting in this meeting, when we had this meeting here, he was talking about he wasn't ready yet to have something that was going to be a responsibility 24/7, 365 days. A real hard worker, but just not quite ready for that management piece yet. So he got hooked up with Alan at River Hill Farms, and now he's working for Alan, I think, in another stage of Sean's career. He'll be able to move off and start his own business again and have a little bit better grounding on how to get going there. But I think it's just recognizing that there's kind of ups and downs as you're trying to move forward into establishing your own business. So how am I doing on time? 10 minutes, thank you. Here's what they need: money, water, and land. That's what's needed if you're going to survive in agriculture. So one of the things as the ERC, if you are looking at how can you help people, there's a couple of different ways. It's one, helping figure out some networks, some other opportunities which will allow access to these resources. I know the Brent's office there, they can offer some opportunities with having some fairly quickly access to some money to be able to get there, but you know, just more access to those types of things are extremely important. Living Lands has a little bit of a land sharing network, but I think it needs to go a step farther from what they've done, because I think it's really being able to identify maybe some landowners who have maybe more significant acreage to where a person could come on there and produce an economic unit to be able to survive. That's one of the big connections that we need. We've been doing this business planning class, which we'll be continuing to do. This is Jeremy right here, and that's his action plan for the next 6 months of what he wants to try and get done. This is Alita Barrett. Alita and Ken are at Starbright Acres. They're off of Polaris Drive there in Nevada County, and she also works on a SIFAR Farm to Fork project that we have, and they're struggling to expand their business. I think they've got a good plan in place to be able to do that after taking the farm business planning. People want this. This is Shan Kendall, and there's local food. And they want to get it from local farmers, and these are all local farmers that we have up here. And they want it to be able to have it for their own meals, and in their schools, and in their community, okay? Because if we can do that, that's a great shot, because all of a sudden we're out on a farm, we're eating some fruit, we're staying healthy, and we're getting connected back with the land. And so whatever we can do ourselves as UC Cooperative Extension, you as the ERC, you as an individual to support local agriculture, that is very, very important. We have a website, Foothill Farming, as a resource for beginning farmers. We try and do on-farm workshops that help people get hands-on experience so that they can learn skills. And the other thing is that farmers and ranchers need community support. So one of the things that you can do is you can get involved. You can join Nevada County Grown as a just as a supporter type of a thing, and I would urge you to do that. There's also the Local Food Coalition. You can actually join that listserv so you can get a better sense of different needs and things that there are in the ag community. You can also buy local. You can go to Briar Patch. You can go on farm to buy stuff. You can go to the growers market. You can go to the downtown market. In Grass Valley, you can go to the Nevada City market. But buy local, even if you only do that once a month, okay? That is a huge improvement over not buying it at all. And you need to talk to your neighbors about going out and buying local food. The only way we're going to keep people in agriculture is if we support them. And that is an inherent responsibility of myself and everybody in this room, type of a thing. So you just keep that in mind. If there's ever an opportunity to get to Briar Patch, find somebody who's growing something locally and make that purchase, that's awesome, okay? And then also trying to find ways to improve that food security and also that food access for all segments of our community. We have a specialty crop grant that we are going to be doing tastings and some samplings here in Nevada County at the growers market and the downtown market, and also at the new Rood market as well, that will allow us to be able to get produce vouchers into the hands of people that they can then use to spend there at the market. And we want to have that access out for low-income families and also for seniors as well. And then also people want more food served in schools and more school gardens, and Live Healthy Nevada County has done a great job at doing that. And we need to get these unused resources to work supporting people who want to get started in agriculture. So they need resources and they need people buying stuff from them, basically. So why does local matter? It matters because it gives us food security. We're not as dependent on food being outside of our area. Food quality, fresher is going to be better. It's mainly coming freshly picked from the farm right to you, so it's going to taste better. Nutritionally wise, it'll be better. Getting to know farmers is critical, knowing who is growing and producing the food that we have. We're getting more economic circulation, because in other words, if you're supporting local farms, those farms are actually going out. They have to buy stuff just like all the rest of us do. So that dollar a purchase at that farm may be generating $3 of purchases here in Nevada County. And then it's also providing open space. It's also providing wildlife habitat. It's also providing fire protection as well. So that's why local matters. And again, the challenges are just trying to make that transition to be a full-time farmer or rancher without a safety net, trying to find long-term leases, having the infrastructure that is needed in place to get to a sufficient scale, and paying yourself a livable salary. The median wage here in Nevada County is $31,607, okay? And the challenge that you've got is Mother Nature is your partner, which means everything is always unpredictable as far as what is going on. There definitely is more demand out there than there is supply. We've got to have more supply in order to meet that demand, but there's a lot of complicators to that, building that supply, that go beyond a lot of efforts that are just looking to try and aggregate product to go ahead and sell. That's an enviable or an important thing to be doing, but we've got to have more supply coming in to be able to do that. So just to give you a thing about that, we need some marketing and sales efficiency, lack of infrastructure. Regulations is a real struggle because a lot of times it's geared for one size fits all. Sometimes if we're talking about an increased scale, that can turn off customers because they're thinking of a big corporate farm when really we're talking about a micro farm moving to a small farm. The many, many hours that a farmer or rancher puts in can lead to burnout and stress. And then a little bit of tension between commercial farming and hobby farming. Somebody who's in the hobby business, it's an awesome thing to be able to do, but they're not as concerned about the price that they're receiving. And sometimes they may actually be unintentionally cutting a price that is affecting the commercial grower. And then also the cost of energy will be a thing as well. So just to kind of give you the magnitude of the challenge. So here is my median wage, $31,607. If I get some sort of health insurance for $4,000 and I take 5% of my salary as some sort of retirement savings, then I'm up around $37,187. If I was in the sheep business, I would need to have 400 lambs marketed as meat, and I would need 450 ewes to be able to do that. And in order to run that herd, that would be a grass-based herd, I'd need 61 acres of irrigated pasture and 715 acres of dry feed. That's where this resource thing comes into play if we're going to get these operations to scale to where they at least have some option to really have them build a business that truly can support you. And that's why it needs people like the ERC, it needs local businesses, it needs the local community to be supporting agriculture in any way, shape, or form that they can. And then for farming, that would mean you need about 8 or 10 acres under cultivation, and that would also include both direct and wholesale marketing.
Well, that's our show today from the George Muck Farm here in Yuba County. Thanks a lot, Jim, for letting us come down and be part of this exciting workshop.
And remember, you can catch us every week on Monday night, 6:30 p.m., Channel 11 and Suddenlink 16 and ACTV 20 and 24/7 on our YouTube channel, The Food and Farm Show. So until next time.
We'll see you later. Bye. Be sure to join us each week right here on NCTV Channel 11 at 6:30 to 7:30, and of course on our YouTube channel, The Food and Farm Show.